The casting process for the 1952 TV series Adventures of Superman was a crucial step in bringing the iconic comic book hero to life. George Reeves was chosen to play Superman after initially being considered for the role of Batman in a different series. Reeves' physical resemblance to the comic book character and his confident acting style made him a standout choice. For the role of Jimmy Olsen, the producers selected Jack Larson. Larson's boyish charm and enthusiasm won over the casting directors, making him the perfect fit for the eager and energetic young reporter. Phyllis Coates was cast as Lois Lane after impressing the producers with her feisty and independent portrayal of the character. Coates' chemistry with Reeves was undeniable, and she brought a fresh and modern take to the iconic role. The casting of the show's villains was also important, with actors like Robert Shayne as Inspector Henderson and John Hamilton as Perry White adding depth and complexity to the series. Auditions for the show were rigorous, with actors often required to read multiple scenes and undergo chemistry tests with their potential co-stars. The pivotal moments in the casting process often came down to the intangible elements of chemistry and charisma, with the producers looking for actors who could embody the spirit and values of the characters they were portraying. In the end, the cast of Adventures of Superman would become synonymous with the iconic superhero, leaving a lasting impact on popular culture and paving the way for future adaptations of the character.
Heck, would it? You're right, Superman. I'm going back to the office. Lois, you head for the Tip Top Club and snoop around.
The Adventures of Superman, a groundbreaking 1952 TV series, was brought to life by director Tommy Carr's unique vision. Carr's approach was deeply influenced by the comic book series and radio programs of the time, aiming to create a faithful adaptation for the new medium of television. Carr's style was characterized by a straightforward and action-oriented approach, focusing on Superman's heroics and moral lessons. He worked closely with the cast and crew, creating a collaborative atmosphere on set. Carr's interactions with lead actor George Reeves, who played Superman, were particularly noteworthy. He encouraged Reeves to bring a sense of humanity to the character, making him relatable and endearing to audiences. Carr's creative influences extended beyond the Superman franchise. He drew inspiration from classic adventure serials and westerns, incorporating their pacing and visual language into the series. This is evident in the show's dynamic action sequences and the use of locations that echo the American heartland. In terms of collaboration, Carr valued the input of his cast and crew, fostering a creative environment where ideas could be freely exchanged. He worked closely with the show's writers to ensure that the scripts aligned with his vision, and he was always open to suggestions from the actors and crew members. In summary, Tommy Carr's directorial vision for The Adventures of Superman was instrumental in bringing the iconic character to life on television. His approach, influenced by adventure serials and westerns, combined with his collaborative style, resulted in a series that resonated with audiences and left an indelible mark on television history.
That's right. That's why we can only pull one more job. But it has to be a big one. A real big one.
The Adventures of Superman, a 1952 television series, remains an enduring symbol of the industry. Its simple yet compelling storytelling, memorable characters, and groundbreaking special effects have captivated audiences for generations. This series introduced the world to George Reeves as Superman, a character that would become synonymous with the actor. Throughout the series, viewers experienced a roller coaster of emotions, from laughter to tears, and even shock. There are many surprising facts about this series that you might not know, so stay tuned. Do you have a favorite memory or personal experience related to the Adventures of Superman? We would love to hear your stories and memories in the comments below. What makes this series an everlasting symbol of the industry? Its impact goes beyond entertainment, inspiring countless other adaptations, and serving as a reminder of the importance of hope, justice, and the struggle between good and evil. Join us as we delve deeper into the fascinating history of the Adventures of Superman, exploring its creation, cultural significance, and the many challenges the production faced. Prepare to be amazed, intrigued, and entertained.
Theories by him. Why, if the truth of this story ever comes out, I'll be the laughingstock of the newspaper world.
The Adventures of Superman, a groundbreaking 1952 TV series, was produced with great attention to detail, especially in set design and locations. The show's creators wanted to bring the comic book world to life, and they did this by constructing sets that accurately represented various locations from the Superman comics. The main set for the series was the Daily Planet newsroom, where Clark Kent and Lois Lane worked. This set was designed to look like a bustling newsroom, complete with typewriters, desks, and telephones. The set also featured a separate office for Perry White, the Daily Planet's editor-in-chief. Another important set was the interior of the fictional city of Metropolis. This set was designed to look like a modern city, with tall buildings, wide streets, and plenty of people. The set was built on a soundstage, and the production team used forced perspective to make the buildings appear taller than they actually were. The show was also filmed on location in and around Los Angeles. The producers chose locations that looked like they could be in Metropolis, such as the Griffith Observatory, the Bradbury Building, and the Los Angeles City Hall. Filming a TV series in the 1950s was a logistical challenge. The production team had to work within a tight budget and a short schedule. They had to build sets quickly, hire actors and crew members, and film episodes in just a few days. One innovative technique that the producers used was filming on 35mm film instead of the more common 16mm film. This allowed them to achieve a higher level of image quality, which helped to make the show look more cinematic. Another challenge that the production team faced was creating the special effects needed for Superman's flying scenes. They achieved this by using a variety of techniques, including rear projection, matte paintings, and wirework. In conclusion, the production of The Adventures of Superman was a complex process that required careful planning, attention to detail, and innovative techniques. The show's set design, locations, and logistical challenges all contributed to its success and helped to establish the superhero genre on television.
I do all the work. Yeah, who goes into the fire? Who thought up the fireman's friend gimmick? So we can get in.
The Adventures of Superman, a groundbreaking series from the 1950s, is a true TV classic that has transcended its low budget, often cheesy scripts, and challenging production schedule to become a beloved part of television history. This series, which has been frequently rerun and syndicated since its initial airing, was one of the first to be shot in color, making it a trendsetter for future shows. It was also one of the first syndicated programs, paving the way for the many shows that would follow. The story of Superman's journey to television is a fascinating one. The character, who had already achieved success on radio, in animated short films, and in 2 movie serials, made the leap to the small screen after the release of the low-budget feature film Superman and the Mole Men. This film introduced George Reeves as the new Man of Steel, replacing the serial's Kirk Alyn. Reeves, a youthful 37-year-old with a square jaw, brought a new level of physicality to the role, and his portrayal of both Superman and Clark Kent would become iconic. The first season of The Adventures of Superman is considered by many to be the best, due in part to the presence of Phyllis Coates as Lois Lane. Coates, who was replaced by Neill in the second season, brought a toughness and no-nonsense attitude to the character that would soften in later seasons. Despite the show's popularity, Coates left after the first season, believing it would not be renewed, and signed on for other film work. The series, which was initially produced by Robert Maxwell, utilized the same assembly line formula as the movie serials, shooting multiple episodes at once and relying on action-heavy scripts and reused special effects shots to keep costs down. The show's flying effects, which have been the subject of much humor over the years, were achieved through the use of wires and a flying pan in front of a rear projection, a technique that would still be in use 55 years later in Superman Returns. The Adventures of Superman was a show ahead of its time, tackling adult themes and presenting a more realistic portrayal of superheroes than had been seen before. The first season episodes, in particular, are considered to be some of the best, with the show's move to color and increasing silliness in later seasons seen as a detriment to its overall quality. Despite this, the series remains a beloved part of television history, and its legacy continues to inspire new generations of fans. The show's cast, including Reeves, Coates, Neill, Jack Larson, and John Hamilton, would all go on to other projects, but for many, their roles in The Adventures of Superman would define their careers. The tragic death of George Reeves, in particular, has been the subject of much debate and speculation, with some believing that he was murdered rather than taking his own life. In conclusion, The Adventures of Superman is a true TV classic, a groundbreaking series that has left an indelible mark on the world of television and continues to inspire new generations of fans. From its innovative production techniques to its memorable cast of characters, the show is a testament to the enduring appeal of the superhero genre and the power of storytelling to captivate audiences for generations.
Yeah, they're phony on.
The Adventures of Superman, a 1952 television series, featured a memorable musical score and soundtrack that greatly enhanced the viewing experience. The music, composed by Leon Klatskin, perfectly complemented the narrative and emotional tone of the show. Klatskin's score was designed to highlight the heroism and adventure of the main character, Superman. The composer skillfully used a mix of orchestral and choral elements to create a sound that was both epic and intimate. The main title theme, with its bold brass fanfare and soaring strings, instantly conveyed a sense of excitement and wonder. The soundtrack also included a wide range of incidental music used to underscore various scenes and emotions. For instance, during moments of tension or danger, Klatskin employed dissonant harmonies and rapid, staccato rhythms. Conversely, during scenes of romance or sentimentality, he used lush, sweeping strings and gentle, lilting melodies. Interestingly, Klatskin was not a classically trained musician. He was primarily self-taught, and his unique approach to composition brought a fresh, innovative sound to the series. His ability to create music that was both accessible and sophisticated was a key factor in the success of the Adventures of Superman soundtrack. In an interview, Klatskin once said, "I wanted the music to be a character in itself, to have its own voice and personality." I think that's what helped make the show so memorable. The musicians involved in the production also played a crucial role in bringing Klatskin's music to life. The orchestra, led by conductor Lud Gluskin, was made up of some of the finest studio musicians in Hollywood. Their skill and dedication are evident in every note of the soundtrack. In conclusion, the musical score and soundtrack of The Adventures of Superman were integral to the show's success. They provided a rich, emotive backdrop to the action, helping to create a fully realized world for the characters to inhabit. The combination of Klatskin's innovative compositions and the talent of the musicians resulted in a soundtrack that continues to captivate audiences today.
Who's this boy?
He's got what we were sent for.
Listen, Doctor. Where's the box?
In the second season of the Adventures of Superman television series, Noel Neill replaced Phyllis Coates as Lois Lane. George Reeves, who played Superman, stood up for Neill when the director was overly critical of her. Reeves also defended Robert Shayne, who played Inspector Henderson, when Shayne was accused of being a radical during the 1950s witch hunt and faced job loss. Producer Whitney Ellsworth also came to Shayne's defense. Interestingly, although the episodes were shot in color from the third season onwards, they were initially broadcast in black and white. The 16mm television syndication prints were only available in black and white until 1965. George Reeves, who played Superman, was a talented musician. He performed a wrestling judo act as Superman and later appeared with Noel Neill in a touring county fair act where she sang, and he played guitar and upright bass. These behind-the-scenes facts offer a glimpse into the camaraderie and talent that went into making the Adventures of Superman series.
Nothing. I've spent $200 on phone calls. I don't like it, Kent. I don't.
One of the most iconic scenes in the 1952 TV series Adventures of Superman is from the first episode, Superman on Earth. After crash landing on Earth as a baby, Clark Kent grows up in Smallville, Kansas, and discovers his superpowers. In one scene, a young Clark runs into a farm equipment storage room where he tries to test his strength by lifting various heavy objects. Director Thomas Carr skillfully builds tension as Clark tries to lift increasingly heavier items, ultimately attempting to lift a huge tractor. The performance by actor George Reeves is noteworthy as he effectively conveys Clark's curiosity, determination, and eventual triumph. The cinematography by Harold E. Wellman is also impressive, with close-ups of Reeves' facial expressions and creative camera angles that highlight the weight of the tractor and Clark's struggle. This scene has a significant impact on the audience as it marks the beginning of Clark's journey to understand and harness his extraordinary abilities. It also establishes Superman as a symbol of hope, strength, and resilience, which has resonated with generations of viewers. Whitney Ellsworth, the producer of Adventures of Superman, commented on the importance of this scene. We wanted to introduce Superman's powers subtly, so we started with Clark testing his strength. George Reeves did a fantastic job showing Clark's amazement and determination, and the scene became a defining moment for the series. Another iconic scene is from the episode The Haunted Lighthouse, where Superman saves a lighthouse keeper from a saboteur-induced explosion. The suspenseful direction, powerful performance, and dramatic cinematography create a memorable and impactful sequence. Director Lee Sholem masterfully builds tension as Superman arrives at the lighthouse, with the audience unaware of the imminent danger. Actor George Reeves delivers a compelling performance, expressing concern for the lighthouse keeper and determination to save him. The cinematography by Harold E. Wellman emphasizes the urgency of the situation, with close-ups of the ticking clock and the flickering lighthouse beam. This scene leaves a lasting impression on the audience, showcasing Superman's unwavering commitment to protecting innocent lives. It also highlights the importance of vigilance and quick thinking in the face of danger. Whitney Ellsworth reflected on the impact of this scene. We wanted to remind viewers that Superman is not just a superhero, but also a symbol of hope and protection. George Reeves' performance and the dramatic cinematography perfectly captured that essence, making it an iconic moment in the series.
Bath in the river.
Can he swim?
Not unless he can swim with 2 cement blocks on his feet.
Well, that's what he gets for snooping around.
Sterling Holloway, who appeared in the 1952 TV series Adventures of Superman, was a talented actor who began his training at the American Academy of Dramatic Arts in New York when he was just 15 years old. Dan Seymour, another actor in the series, was born in Chicago in 1915 and started his career in burlesque and nightclub performances. He later transitioned to film, often taking on menacing villainous roles. Jack Larson, who also appeared in the series, had a diverse heritage, with his father being of Swedish and English descent, and his mother having Russian Jewish and German Jewish ancestry.
I thought they might be in here.
Well, you'll just have to wait until he gives them to you. Outside, James.
The 1952 TV series Adventures of Superman had a significant cultural and social impact. The show popularized the Superman character, making him a household name and a symbol of American values such as truth, justice, and the American way. It resonated with audiences, especially children, who admired Superman's strength, courage, and moral compass. The series also influenced pop culture, inspiring numerous adaptations and parodies in various media, from comic books and cartoons to movies and TV shows. The iconic Superman theme music and the up, and away catchphrase became ingrained in popular culture, and the characters' red and blue suit and red cape became instantly recognizable symbols of superheroism. Moreover, Adventures of Superman contributed to discussions on relevant social or cultural themes. The show tackled issues such as juvenile delinquency, corruption, and social injustice, offering a moral compass and a sense of hope to viewers. It also challenged gender stereotypes by featuring a strong and independent female character, Lois Lane, who was not afraid to speak her mind and pursue her goals. Overall, Adventures of Superman left a lasting legacy in American culture and society, inspiring generations of creators, fans, and viewers with its heroic protagonist, engaging storytelling, and relevant themes. George Reeves, the actor who played Superman in the 1950s television series, did not have a 5-picture deal with Paramount Studios at the time of his death, as has been falsely reported. The major studios were moving away from actor deals and contracts due to the rise of television. Reeves, who had been dropped by Paramount a few years earlier, was a typecast TV star who had not worked in film or television for over 2 years. It is highly unlikely that he could have secured such a deal at that point in his career. The show's limited budget meant that all episodes were filmed out of sequence, with scenes in Perry White's office being shot at once. For example, this explains why the actors often wore the same clothes in every episode. Co-star Jack Larson remembered Reeves complaining about the Superman role only once. Any stories about Reeves regretting the part should be taken with a grain of salt, as he seemed to have a generally positive attitude towards the role.
Competition.
Well, Jimmy, it looks like ordinary fellows like you and I don't have a chance anymore. These young...
The 1952 TV series Adventures of Superman received positive critical reception and had a significant impact on popular culture. The series starred George Reeves as the Man of Steel and introduced the superhero to a wide audience through the new medium of television. Critics praised the show for its strong production values, exciting action sequences, and Reeves' earnest portrayal of the title character. The series was also noted for its memorable supporting cast, including Jack Larson as Jimmy Olsen and John Hamilton as Perry White. Audiences were captivated by the show's thrilling adventures and Superman's heroic feats. The series became a cultural touchstone and helped to establish the superhero genre in television and film. Adventures of Superman did not receive any major awards during its initial run, but it has since been recognized for its historical significance. The series has been honored with several retrospective awards, including induction into the Television Academy Hall of Fame in 1991. The accolades and recognition that Adventures of Superman has received over the years are a testament to the show's enduring popularity and influence. The series has left a lasting mark on popular culture and continues to be celebrated by fans and critics alike. The show's success also helped to pave the way for future superhero adaptations on television and in film.
Don't look so surprised, Mr. Kent. I understand you already have us figured out.
George Reeves did not appear in the 1951 film The Day the Earth Stood Still, as previously thought. The actor who played the TV news reporter with glasses looked nothing like Reeves. In a 1995 interview, director Robert Wise confirmed that Reeves had no involvement in the film. In the Adventures of Superman TV series, producers often reuse actors in different roles, including Reeves' friend Tristram Coffin. Aline Roberts, who appeared in an episode of the series, was known for her strong spiritual beliefs during her time in Hollywood. She declined roles that went against her moral standards and donated 10% of her earnings to her Baptist church. Despite her limited film career, Roberts left a lasting impression on those she worked with and maintained a strong faith throughout her life.
Clark, I thought Jimmy took him to a kennel.
Oh, you're supposed...
The Adventures of Superman, a groundbreaking 1952 TV series, was filled with fascinating behind-the-scenes stories. George Reeves, who played Superman, often entertained the cast and crew with his guitar playing during breaks. Reeves' love for music helped create a friendly and enjoyable atmosphere on set. In one episode, the script called for Superman to leap over a train. To achieve this effect, the crew built a miniature train set and filmed Reeves jumping over it in slow motion. This creative solution allowed them to portray the Man of Steel's incredible abilities without the need for expensive special effects. During the filming of fight scenes, Reeves insisted on performing most of his own stunts, ensuring that the action scenes were as authentic as possible. His dedication to the role contributed significantly to the show's success and the audience's belief in Superman's powers. Neill, who played Lois Lane, formed a close bond with Reeves during the series. Their on-screen chemistry was a result of their genuine friendship off-screen. Neill also had a unique connection to the Superman franchise, having played Lois Lane in the 1948 Columbia film Superman. The Adventures of Superman faced numerous budget constraints, which often led to creative problem-solving. For instance, the iconic Daily Planet office set was reused from another TV series, saving the production significant funds. These anecdotes offer a glimpse into the resourceful and camaraderie-filled world of the Adventures of Superman's cast and crew, demonstrating their dedication to bringing the legendary superhero to life on the small screen.
No comment until the time limit is up.
Yeah, if I'm a young fool, you're an old one, because Superman isn't even in there. They've got his voice on a tape.
Lane Bradford, known for his role in The Adventures of Superman, was the son of actor John Merton. In the series, the phone number for the Daily Planet was Metropolis 650. After George Reeves' tragic death, producers considered continuing the show with Jimmy Olsen as the main character, incorporating existing footage of Reeves as Superman. However, Jack Larson, who played Olsen, declined the idea. The simplicity and directness of the show's storytelling made it a hit among viewers, and these behind-the-scenes facts add an interesting layer to its history. The Adventures of Superman TV series, which first aired in 1952, holds a significant place in film history. It was one of the first successful adaptations of a comic book character for television and helped to establish the superhero genre in popular culture. The show's portrayal of Superman, played by George Reeves, became the iconic image of the character for a generation of viewers. The series had a major impact on future filmmaking, particularly in the realm of superhero movies. It demonstrated the potential for live-action adaptations of comic book characters and paved the way for the numerous superhero films that would follow in the decades to come. The show's themes of heroism, justice, and the struggle between good and evil have been enduring elements in the genre. Adventures of Superman also inspired numerous subsequent works. The show's success led to a wave of superhero TV shows in the 1950s and 1960s, and its influence can still be seen in contemporary superhero films and TV shows. The character of Superman has appeared in numerous adaptations in various media, from animation to feature films, and the show's portrayal of the character continues to be a touchstone for later interpretations. Overall, Adventures of Superman left a lasting legacy and influence on the world of film and television, particularly in the superhero genre. Its portrayal of Superman and its themes of heroism and justice continue to resonate with audiences today.
Martin, do we?
No, I guess not. How do we get it?
Just put me in touch with General Summers.
In the early seasons of Adventures of Superman, which aired in the 1950s, wire work was used to create flying scenes. However, when the support wire snapped and the actor George Reeves was dropped to the floor, he refused to do any more wire work. This is why, in later seasons, Superman is shown running towards the camera and leaping out of frame. George Reeves' death was shrouded in mystery, as he was found naked in his bedroom by guests during a small gathering. The investigation found additional bullet holes in the floor, bruises on Reeves' body, and shell casings in strange locations. Despite these anomalies, forensic evidence and expert testimony suggest non-criminal explanations. The actor Sterling Holloway, who played many supporting roles in the series, passed away on the 29th anniversary of the John F. Kennedy assassination. In summary, the production of Adventures of Superman faced challenges such as the use of wire work and the mysterious death of George Reeves. Additionally, the cast included notable actors like Sterling Holloway, who met an unfortunate end on a significant anniversary.
My truck broke down the other night and we had to leave her here.
She's yours?
Sure. We raised her.
Helene Roberts, the only daughter among 4 children of Frank, an electrician, and Velma, a housewife, discovered her passion for acting at a young age. Meanwhile, Robert Shayne, who worked part-time as a stockbroker until the crash of 1929, also pursued a career in acting. Interestingly, co-star John Hamilton is said to have spoken to Neill, his fellow actress on the show, only once during her entire time on the set. This highlights the nature of their working relationship, which may have been purely professional. Despite the limited interaction between the two, Neill went on to have a successful career in acting, following her role in The Adventures of Superman.
Oh, yes, Inspector. What? Oh, they did. Oh, I'll be right over.
In the first season of Adventures of Superman, Phyllis Coates, who played Lois Lane, received star billing alongside George Reeves. However, when Neill took over the role in the second season, her character's billing was reduced to featured billing. Neill is arguably the most prolific actor in Superman's live-action legacy, having played Lois Lane in the 2 Superman serials, replaced Phyllis Coates in Adventures of Superman, made a cameo in Superman, guest starred on Superboy, and appeared in Superman Returns. John Dowsett, who often appeared in Adventures of Superman, is not the father of actor Jeff Dowsett, despite their resemblance and common surname. Dowsett was not married until a year after Jeff's birth, and is not known to have fathered any children out of wedlock.
You better come out, Arnold.
Phyllis Coates is currently the only surviving regular cast member of the 1952 TV series Adventures of Superman. During the show's first 2 seasons, which were filmed in black and white, George Reeves wore a costume that used brown for red, gray for blue, and white for yellow. However, when the series began filming in color in 1954, Reeves switched to the more familiar red and blue suit. In addition to his appearance in Adventures of Superman, Sterling Holloway has an impressive film career, with 4 of his films being selected for the National Film Registry by the Library of Congress for their cultural, historical, or aesthetic significance. These films include Gold Diggers of 1933, Dumbo, Bambi, and A Walk in the Sun.
Gambling houses, organized vice.
Let's say did control. Because when Senator Taylor gets through...
Jack Larson, known for his role as Jimmy Olsen in the Adventures of Superman series from 1952, has also made a name for himself as a playwright and opera librettist, collaborating with notable figures such as Virgil Thomson. A mistake often discussed among fans of the show is the scene where Superman ducks when a thug throws an empty gun at him. Contrary to popular belief, this was not George Reeves' doing, but rather his stunt double, Dale Van Sickle. This error occurred only once, in the episode The Mind Machine. Upon closer observation, one can see that a stunt double is used in some parts of the fight scene, and it is indeed the double who ducks. The show's fan group has provided further details regarding this mistake. The initial seasons of The Adventures of Superman were produced by a team experienced in creating B-movies and serials. They approached each episode as if it were a mini B-movie, reflecting their background and expertise in this area.
For them, I was supposed to say,
Thanks, Superman. We're very grateful.
And I just couldn't get enough.
Jack Larson, known for his role as Jimmy Olsen in Adventures of Superman, supports emerging directors through a UCLA scholarship program established in memory of his life partner, the late writer-director James Bridges. In the first season of the show, an interesting observation is that Superman smiles whenever someone shoots at him ineffectively. Robert Shayne, who played Inspector Henderson on the series, was a prominent character actor with a prolific career. He appeared in numerous 1950s science fiction films such as Invaders from Mars, The Neanderthal Man, Tobber the Great, Indestructible Man, Kronos, The Giant Claw, War of the Satellites, How to Make a Monster, Teenage Caveman, and The Lost Missile. His recognizable face made him a familiar figure in these films, earning him lasting fame.
Oh, that's all right, Jim. I pulled some pretty silly ones in my day, too.
In the early 1950s, the cast of Adventures of Superman initially received $200 per episode, later negotiating a $50 raise, which displeased the producer, who avoided them for 2 weeks. Paul Burke, known for his role in Naked City, was mistakenly believed to be the partner of Lieutenant Mike Parker, when in fact he partnered with Detective Frank Arcaro, with Lieutenant Mike Parker as their superior. George Reeves, who played Superman, was falsely rumored to have auditioned for the role of Samson in Samson, and Delilah but lost the part to Victor Mature. In reality, Reeves was never under consideration for the role of Samson, and played a smaller role at Mature's recommendation. The confusion likely arose from the similar name of another actor, Steve Reeves, who was considered for the role but declined due to the director's demands.
"7 years bad luck? Nonsense.
And now I hop to my place at the head of the table in there."
Bill Kennedy, the announcer who delivered the famous line faster than a speeding bullet, more powerful than a locomotive, able to leap tall buildings in a single bound in the episode Crime Wave, was a significant figure in the Adventures of Superman series. Phyllis Coates, the last surviving regular cast member, celebrated her 95th birthday on January 15, 2022. Coates remained active in the industry until 2017, showcasing her longevity and dedication to her craft. Robert Shayne, who played Inspector Henderson, had a family of his own. He had 2 children with Elizabeth Robert Shayne Jr., born in 1947 and died in 1983 due to throat cancer, and Stephanie Shayne, born in 1950, who is still living and working as an actress. Shayne Jr. was also a child actor, following in his father's footsteps.
Confidential.
I see.
Now, Bill, we promised these people full cooperation.
Well, then you cooperate. I haven't got the time.
Neill holds a unique place in television history as the only actress to portray Lois Lane opposite 2 different actors playing Superman. She brought the character to life in the 1952 series Adventures of Superman, showcasing her ability to adapt to new co-stars and situations. Dan Seymour, who played a role in Adventures of Superman, formed a close friendship with director Fritz Lang on the set of Cloak and Dagger in 1946. Seymour's ability to speak German caught Lang's attention, leading to a lifelong friendship, and Seymour becoming the executor of Lang's estate. Robert Shayne, who played Inspector Henderson in Adventures of Superman, had an early encounter with politics and fame. Raised in Washington, D.C., Shayne's father was a publisher with connections to the White House. As a young child, Shayne even had the opportunity to sit on the lap of President William Howard Taft, who was known for his large size. When Taft asked Shayne how he was, the young boy replied honestly, stating that he was uncomfortable due to Taft's large belly.
I didn't know it was McGurk. Look, I got a phone call. A guy said he heard about...
The initial 26 episodes of the Adventures of Superman television series, which debuted in 1952, were filmed in 1951. Kellogg Cereals agreed to sponsor the show, allowing it to air the following year. George Reeves, who played Superman, was active in his community, serving as a chairperson of an autograph booth for a fundraiser in 1954. Some of the first season's episodes contained intense or frightening footage, which was edited out of the network broadcasts and initial syndication prints. However, this footage was later restored in the 1960s syndication prints.
Jeepers, it was worth being chained to get to see it.
In the opening credits of the 1952 television series Adventures of Superman, a different train shot was used in a few first season episodes during the famous More Powerful Than a Locomotive line. Interestingly, Lane Bradford, who acted in the series, was the nephew of André de Lavar. To create the illusion of greater bulk, the Superman costume was padded. Despite this, George Reeves, who played Superman, performed most of the stunts himself. His athletic abilities were impressive, including jumping from significant heights, hitting springboards to propel himself out of the frame, swinging through windows, and spending hours on wire work and body support platforms to create the flying scenes.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
300 years ago.
Why, you don't look a day over 50.
I'm not. Mike?
George Reeves, the actor who played Superman in the 1952 television series, was known for his philanthropy. He was a strong supporter of the City of Hope Cancer Research Hospital and the Los Angeles chapter of United Cerebral Palsy. Reeves often appeared on their telethons and parades as Superman, raising awareness and funds for these causes. In the early episodes of the series, Reeves wore glasses without lenses as Clark Kent. However, as he aged, he required a real prescription for eyeglasses. As a result, in later episodes, viewers can see Reeves wearing his own glasses, which often reflect the stage lights. Interestingly, Reeves was credited as Brent Tarleton in Gone with the Wind, but it is clear from the film's dialogue that he played Stuart Tarleton. This is just one example of the many roles Reeves played throughout his career, including his iconic portrayal of Superman.
Rough, I suppose. But that's all I can tell you. I'm sorry I'm no help.
All right, Doctor.
Dabbs Greer, known for officiating the marriages of popular TV couples, played a chaplain on The Dick Van Dyke Show and a minister on The Brady Bunch. Before that, Sterling Holloway, who was often part of the comic relief in Gene Autry's Western, sang and acted in 5 of Autry's films, twice as a character named Droopy. As for The Adventures of Superman, George Reeves, who played the Man of Steel, wanted to leave the series after the 3rd season. Kirk Alyn, the first actor to portray Superman in film, was approached to replace Reeves but declined. Reeves then attempted to produce his own series, Port of Entry, but when he couldn't secure funding, he returned to Superman with a higher salary.
You know, I'd like to meet a few of these movie stars before we pull out. I'd settle for 5 minutes.
Myron Healy, who played various villains in The Adventures of Superman, had an interesting connection to horticulture as the godson of Luther Burbank. George Reeves, who portrayed Superman, took his role as a role model seriously. He quit smoking and avoided appearing with his girlfriends around children, aiming to maintain a positive image. Jimmy Olsen, played by Jack Larson, was frequently referred to as Young Olsen by Perry White, highlighting the character's youth and inexperience.
Nobody's going to open this tin can till 9 o'clock in the morning.
Oh, that place is filled.
George Reeves is best known for his role in the Adventures of Superman series that began in 1952. The show is also noteworthy for being one of the first regular programs to transition into color production. This shift coincided with the introduction of color television sets in the U.S. market in 1954 even though color set ownership was initially low due to their high cost. The added financial burden of producing color shows meant that it took nearly a decade before studios began regularly broadcasting in color. In fact, color television ownership in the U.S. only surpassed monochrome in the early 1970s. In a notable crossover, the cast of Adventures of Superman, including Clark Kent, Lois Lane, Jimmy Olsen, and Perry White, made cameo appearances in the final issue of the Batman 66 ongoing comic book series.
Him.
I see.
Well, thank you for the interview, Senior O'Brien.
Welcome.
In the original 1938 comics of Superman by Jerry Siegel and Joe Shuster, the Man of Steel's famous ability to leap tall buildings at a single bound was showcased, as he couldn't fly yet and could only jump up to 1/18 of a mile. This concept was carried over to the 1952 television series Adventures of Superman. Interestingly, the costumes used in the Krypton sequences of Superman on Earth were reused from 1930s and 1940s serials based on comic strips and books. For instance, Jor-El, Superman's father, wore the same costume that Buster Crabbe wore in the Flash Gordon Conquers the Universe serial. Other Kryptonians donned parts of the costumes of Captain Marvel and Captain America, among others. As for Neill, who played Lois Lane in the series, she was a popular photographic model in her teens, ranking second only to Betty Grable's pin-up among GIST during World War II. Neill was also a professional singer and dancer under contract to Bing Crosby. Her diverse background in entertainment made her a perfect fit for the role of the intrepid reporter.
And Mr. Kent.
Sir.
Pardon me if I'm wrong.
The television series Adventures of Superman underwent significant changes in its third season. Initially shot in black and white with a film noir style, the show was criticized for being too violent and frightening for young children. In response, the episodes were produced in color from the third season onwards, resulting in a brighter image and lighter plots. Even the character of Lois Lane, played by Neill, became more kid-friendly. The tone of some characters, including the villains, shifted towards comedy, with some episodes becoming downright silly. Despite this, many fans of the show regard the first 2 seasons as the best. George Reeves, who played Superman, was engaged to Leonor Lemon at the time of his death. The flying scenes in the first 2 seasons were accomplished by suspending Reeves with cables, while in later seasons he was positioned on a molded platform and wore his costume over it. Exterior landing scenes were achieved by having Reeves jump off a ladder, and he would swing in from a bar positioned outside the window for indoor scenes.
They've got his voice on a tape recorder.
Jim, please.
You're lying.
That stupid kid.
Mr. White! Inspector Hill!
George Reeves, the actor who played Superman, had an early career with 2 films where his scenes were ultimately cut. One of his co-stars, Elaine Roberts, won a charm contest at 11, which led to a screen test with Warner Brothers. In the world of co-stars, Lane Bradford and his father, John Merton, shared the screen in 6 movies together. These actors brought their own unique experiences and talents to the Adventures of Superman television series.
Oh, thanks. I've lost my taste for caviar. And mink? And meat.
Well, at least Superman didn't have to save us.
In the early episodes of Adventures of Superman from 1952, Jimmy Olsen's hairstyle changed from thick curly hair to a crew cut. The hefty actor Dan Seymour, who often referred to himself as the young Sidney Greenstreet, appeared in the series. The E. Clem Wilson building in Los Angeles was used for the Daily Planet's exterior shots in the first season, while the rest of the series featured Los Angeles City Hall as the Daily Planet building. Other buildings that represented metropolis and street scenes were backlot facades at the old RKO 40 Acres lot in Culver City, which had been used in Gone with the Wind, and later for the Andy Griffith Show.
Middle of the Nevada Flats for weeks on end, a vacation.
Don't get discouraged, Jim. We'll get a story sooner or later.
Sure, if we make one up ourselves.
In the opening sequence of Adventures of Superman, the hand pointing to the sky belongs to the brother of frequent series director Thomas Carr. This detail is one of many behind-the-scenes connections that make up the show's production. Originally, after the deaths of John Hamilton and George Reeves in 1958 and 1959, The producers had planned to cast Kirk Alyn as Ken Superman and Pierre Watkin as Editor White. These actors had originated the roles in the Columbia Pictures serials. However, the series was ultimately canceled, leaving George Reeves as the only actor to appear in all 104 episodes. These decisions and appearances played a significant role in the show's success and legacy, contributing to the enduring popularity of the Superman character.
The basket cut. Now, let me show you.
Paul Burke, known as the father-in-law of Tony Shalhoub, had a role in the 1952 TV series Adventures of Superman. Before her acting career, Eileen Roberts, another cast member, was crowned America's most charming child in 194.
What does it do?
Actually, it produces waves which have a strange effect.
If you have memories and experiences related to the 1952 TV series Adventures of Superman, we'd love to hear from you. This groundbreaking show has left a lasting impact on many people's lives and perspectives on cinema. Feel free to share your personal stories about how the series affected you, what it meant to you growing up, or how it influenced your love for cinema. Your insights and experiences can enrich our understanding and appreciation of this classic show. We encourage you to like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more explorations of cinematic history. Your engagement helps us continue to create content that celebrates and examines the impact of classic films and TV shows. Join the conversation and share your thoughts with us. Let's reminisce and explore the legacy of Adventures of Superman together.
Shall we start walking?
Might as well.
I tell you, it's the biggest...